Welcome to Built for Confidence, the podcast where kingdom builders rebuild identity, sharpen clarity, and lead with conviction. I am your host, Coach Paul Ibarra, and every week we're cutting through the noise to help you stop second guessing, start deciding, and build with confidence right where God has placed you. So listen, drop a review, drop a comment, hit that like, subscribe, all the things, and let's get started. Hey, what's going on, my friend? Coach Paul here. And listen, we are back, y'all. We are back for another conversation. This is conversation number 6. I just want to make sure that my microphone is working good and getting everything situated because there a minute ago, those of you who are watching video, I had this all up in my face and you couldn't see the face. And so it's not a big deal that you don't see my face, but you know, I'd like to see you. So glad you're here today. So if you're new to this podcast, I am Paul Ibarra. And what I do is I podcast and have conversations about building leaders, rebuilding leaders, and having fun doing so as well. And there's a whole lot of other stuff, but you know, you could find me on my socials and all the things. Listen, I do this podcast because I love to pour into people. I love to serve. So as we serve, we do what we do. All right. Yeah, I know today's a little bit different, but just got a lot going on. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go in there and just have a conversation with my people. Because, excuse me, comes down to not only motivating, but disciplining yourself in the motivation. And there's times like today, like, you know, these videos and podcasts are pre-recorded. Obviously, everyone records and then they launch them out. But getting ready to go to Israel, and this is when this podcast drops, I'll be home for a few days, so I'll be able to tune in and just listen. I got a lot of stuff, a list. Let's see here. Pull these out. Those of you who are on the Apple and Spotify and all those, I mean, you can't really see it, but I've got a whiteboard over here. Got my Post-its right here. I've got a list. I got a pen. I got all the stuff. So I had to really think about that this morning. Like, man, am I motivated to do all this? I'm not really motivated to go on a live stream. I'm not really motivated to record. Have you ever been there, or is it just me? Is it just me? Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Hopefully it's not just me. But I want us to understand something today. We were talking about mentorship last week, and you know, hopefully you watched it. Hopefully you downloaded some episodes, and our numbers are up right now. I don't know what they are today, but this last week, 2 weeks ago, they were 31 downloads. I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty awesome. But I want to talk today about motivation and how discipline beats motivation every single time. Why motivation fails leaders. And here's why. Motivation is emotional and inconsistent. So if you're showing up today only to get motivated, that's fine. But it's what discipline and what steps you put into action for that thing, the cause, the task, the goal to take root. Does that make sense? Because motivation can only get you so far. Leaders who rely on motivation live reactive lives. You see, you can't be led by emotions to create a decision. Your decision comes first, and then emotion can follow. So when I think of that, I think about passion. Passionate people are great. I'm a passionate person, as you could tell, just by me being on this microphone, right? I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm very passionate about what I say. I'm very passionate about what I believe. But if there's no root to it, there's no foundation to it, it doesn't really matter, right? But the decision that you make, that passion, that emotion can help drive that machine, but your decisions can't be driven by emotion. Going back to the passion. Passion is something that is lit. Purpose is what drives it. Passion fuels your purpose. Purpose drives it to and for and from the assignment that God has given you. So this is why it's imperative that as we have mentorship, we're not only getting motivated, but we're looking and listening to things as well and saying, okay, let me really dissect that so that I'm not led just by my emotion. Because this is always going to fail you. Vision without structure, watch this, leads to frustration. So when you're building your business, you're in this place, and then you start getting frustrated. Most of the time, you're going to get frustrated because there's no structure in the vision. Now, I can speak to this not from theory, but from experience. And never will I speak from a place of arrival because I'm constantly rebuilding myself. I'm allowing God to pour into me, right? But I was in a place where vision didn't have any structure. Hey, I got this vision from God. Okay, where are we going? And I'd have people following me like, we're going that way. Okay, here we go. And then we go. And then halfway through, I'm like, I got no structure, y'all. I'm sorry. And then what happens? Well, that must not have been God. Right? And here's where we begin to look at it. Maybe you're looking at it now like, oh, maybe my desires have changed. No, the problem isn't desire. It's your dependence on feelings. We get in this place of, I'm not feeling the vibe of worship. I'm not feeling the vibe. I'm not feeling God's prayer. I'm not feeling this tenderness. I'm not feeling this friendship no more. Listen, decisions will overrule what you feel. Obedience will overrule what you feel. My parents out there, when your children say, I don't feel like taking out the garbage, what do you, well, I don't know about y'all, but I know my generation was like, if I was to ever tell my mom, I don't feel like taking it out, she'd be like, boy, I'll give you something to feel real quick. You about to feel a belt up your butt, right? So that was my motivation. It was that spark of action. Let me just go get this done, right? But see, discipline sustains it. I could be motivated. There's a good example. I could be motivated by the belt. I could be motivated by the allowance, which we never got. But see, discipline is going to sustain that habit. Discipline is your foundation for all leadership. But see, sometimes when we hear the word discipline, accountability, structure, systems, processes, work, we think it's restriction. It's really protection. Discipline are guardrails on the things that drive you nuts. So if you could picture yourself, I got to tone it down a little bit because I feel like I'm just like out there, man. Like I'm yelling at you. I don't want to be a yeller. I don't want to be a screamer. But if I was to take a trip around these Rocky Mountains here in Colorado, I'm going to base my safety on someone's discipline of structure to create guardrails to protect my family, right? Because that structure created stability, and it's going to create the stability in your life when things feel unpredictable. Make sense? So as you're looking at discipline, understand that it reduces decision fatigue. Let me lower down this light. I feel like it's like blaring in my eyes. But it reduces decision fatigue. When you're disciplined, guess what else? It creates a rhythm. Now, what does a rhythm do? It gives you more clarity. It gives you more peace. It gives you more consistency. That would be like you going to the gym and just going in there hard. No, the rhythm is you go in there, you stretch, you get ready. You start preparing even before the gym. Like you're putting on your sneakers, you're grabbing your backpack with your towel and your water. That's a rhythm. You're getting in your mindset like, man, this isn't part of my to-do list. This is an escape from my to-do list. This is a break from my to-do list. I get to go and get in a rhythm and come back feeling good, right? That's what rhythm creates. Clarity, peace in that gym, consistency in that gym, consistency when you go on your walks, all the things. I'm pausing because I just want to dissect this in my own mind. You know, as a leader, as a podcaster, as an influencer, as a speaker, we do a lot of that. We're speaking, we're teaching. Sometimes when I'm doing these podcasts, I'm actually learning more. I'm like, man, this is good. And what I've learned in life is that I don't rise to my goals. Here's what happens. I fall into my systems, right? I don't rise to the goal. I have to have a system to get there. I can rise to my goal and just go, balls to the wall and go. But you may be thinking, why are you saying balls to the wall? That's disgusting. That's not even what you think it is. It's about gears and bearings in a motor. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there. Go and Google it. Like, what does balls to the wall really mean? Right? You don't just like go and by the time you know it, you're just burnt out, or you finish the goal and then you're done and then you get back to being out of shape. Make sense? And this is where the quietness comes into play for your life to keep the rhythm. Does that make sense? The quiet places. Have you ever been in those places where you're walking on a trail, you're hiking a mountain, you're at the ocean, you're at a lake, you're fishing, whatever? That quietness gives you that sense of peace, right? And this is where, if you're not careful, you're going to start drifting. Because leadership drift rarely announces itself. It's just, it kind of shows up as, maybe today I'll just miss this routine or this rhythm or this system, or maybe I don't need to be stretching like that and this and that. I've been there. I'm there right now. I was in this place of stretching every morning for 10 minutes. And since I haven't done it in about a week, my lower back is kind of tight. Here's how else it showed us up: in delayed decisions. That'll preach. Delayed decisions. Like, I don't know what we're doing today. I've been there. Delayed decisions. You know why? Because something else that was easier seems better in the moment. But see, as a leader, as a business owner, as a kingdom entrepreneur that has an assignment, we can't be inconsistent because there's no follow through in that. We've got to be assertive in our routines. We have to be assertive in our decisions. We have to be assertive in our follow through. Why? Because we are people of integrity. Now, let me just break this down for you as well. Drifting doesn't mean failure. It only means that the structure has been weakened. That's all. It's only because the structure has been weakened. Most leaders don't need a reset. Watch this. They only need a return. Because I know for myself, I was in those places where it's like, man, I'm so burnt out. I just need a reset. And then I'm gonna sit with God and I'm just gonna redo everything. You know what? I'm throwing a match on all my programs and I'm just gonna start over. No, I didn't need a reset. I didn't need rest. All I needed to do was return back to the system that actually worked. True story. So I haven't been on a treadmill in a long time, like running and jogging and stuff. I was going through some health stuff. And those of you who know me know that issue that I was having. Thank God that issue is subsided and it's gone. Nothing detrimental. But there was a place in my life about a year ago, I started to scale back, but for about 2 or 3 years, I was on that treadmill, started running half a mile, then a mile, then I was all the way up to like 2 or 3 miles every day for 5 days a week. And it was good. Like it was attainable. I was like, man, I'm in this thing. Right. When I started getting back on it about a week ago, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be the guy that's a used to could. Right now, what I can do is a mile on a 3.5 to 4.0 miles an hour on a treadmill, maybe at 1% grade. And then I could walk 1 mile on the treadmill along with the walks that I do in my local park, right? But I'm not beating myself up. I'm just returning to what I know works. Returning back to the stretch, which I know works. Going to Hot Works today. I missed about a week because I've been preparing for Israel. All the things. Just return. You don't need a reset. You don't need a retreat sometimes. Now, all of that stuff is good. Vacations are good. But my friends, sometimes all you need to do is return. Does that resonate with you? We want to come to understand, like I sigh like that because I know there's so many entrepreneurs out there that you're spinning your wheels, you're burnt out, you're in a place where you're like, I took something else on. And this is where discipline slips, is when you carry too much alone. And then it turns into shame and it causes overcorrection in your life. But see, here's where awareness restores things in your life. It'll restore your alignment. It's okay to just be aware. You've heard me say this before. Just recognize the thing that you're doing. Recognize the pattern. Don't try to fix it. Just become aware, because it's going to pop up again. And then once it comes up again, like, oh, you know what? I dealt with this a few days ago. Okay, I'm aware of it. And then the third or fourth or fifth time, now you can start to course correct the things before that led up to that. Make sense? One of my downfalls is eating. Sometimes I just open the fridge. Why am I opening the fridge? Well, because I'm bored. Why am I bored? Am I really bored or am I drifting? Well, because I didn't want to handle that one thing. Why don't you want to handle that one thing? Because that one thing is hard. Why is it hard? Because I don't want to do the work. There's the root. But then go a little bit deeper. Why don't you want to do the work? Because I've done it before and it did not work. Did it not work, or did you not complete it? Maybe that's just a whole nother podcast. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. So I want you to ask yourself these questions. Okay. What structure once worked that I abandoned? Write that down. What is the structure that once worked, that rocked out really good, that I just abandoned? And where did I loosen discipline without realizing it? You ever been walking down the street and then all of a sudden you feel like your shoe is just untied, and sure enough, it's just starts getting loose and then loose. And then by the time you know it, you're like, my shoe is untied. Sure enough, you look down, it's untied. If you don't tie that shoe, you're going to trip over it, right? But you can feel the loosen. So where did you loosen discipline without realizing it? Was it a drift? Was it a shift? Was it an assignment change? What is that? Because here's what I want you to remember today. Rebuilding discipline is about refinement, not reinvention. So many out there, maybe that's you. Oh, I got to reinvent something. No, you just got to refine, right? And this is why small habits matter more than big goals. Why? Because big goals collapse without daily support. You've got to constantly be doing the thing. In order for me to lose this belly, in order for me to maintain this belly, guess what? I have to constantly walk. I have to put in at least 5,000 to 8,000 intentional steps to keep things moving, especially the older that we get. So that's your daily support. Small habits compounded quietly over time will help you create the bigger goal. Right? Consistency will always beat intensity every time. You may be in that place like you get so intense on something, but consistency will beat intensity every time. Every single time. I gotta put some stuff up. Sorry, guys. I'm over here doing some techie stuff. I hope this is resonating with you, because sometimes we can overcomplicate the growth that God is wanting us to embark on. We get into that place of, I'm just way overcomplicating these things, right? There's not sustainable momentum. How is that built? It's built through repetition. Every single day, every moment, that's that same rhythm that you create. We were talking about that earlier, right? So we want to just really hone in on the habits that we create, because one small habit practiced daily, what does it do for you? Watch this. You ready? It builds your confidence. It reinforces your identity and restores your momentum. I'm going to say that again. One small habit practiced daily builds confidence, reinforces identity, restores momentum. And that's what the Built for Confidence podcast is all about, because here's what happens. Like if you really look at this, do it backwards: momentum, identity, confidence. When you're in motion, you know exactly what the identification of that moment is, that's going to build your confidence. But what happens is we don't have the confidence. Why? Because we don't know who we are, because we're not going in the direction that we know that we're supposed to go. That's the momentum piece. Or we don't have the confidence because we don't trust ourselves in the momentum or in the identity because of the failures that we've had from our past. And this is where the habits will shape your identity before results show up. It's all about the identity, not about the results. The results are going to come. Now, am I result driven? Yes. Am I journey driven? Yes. Am I in the action driven? Yes. They all work together, right? Because that's what we become. We become what we practice, not just what we plan. It's all about the be, do, have. If you listen to Myron Golden, you've heard him say that a ton of times. It's not about just having to plan and say that's just the only thing that's going to work. No, it's what you do in practice behind the scenes when nobody's looking. Make sense? If any of this is resonating with Joe, please drop a comment and wherever you are. Send me an email, send me a text, whatever that is. And if you want to receive a text from me with my daily motivation, text the keyword, text me, to 719-509-1005. Okay. You're going to get a text. Boom. It's going to welcome you in. And then do me one more favor. Type your name back on that text so that I know who you are. So we put you in our system. They're automated texts, but they're fire. Like they're daily motivation. There's their daily inspiration. There's something that's going to spark on the inside of you. I get comments sometimes back, text back like, oh my God, I really needed this today. Cool. Because I needed it. You see what I'm saying? So here's some takeaways. Okay. Y'all ready for the takeaways? Identify one discipline that has slipped. Just identify the one discipline. Just one. That's all I'm asking you. The next one is choose one small habit to recommit to. Can we do that this week? Here's a few others. This isn't homework. This is for you. Focus on consistency, not perfection. Build systems that carry you when energy is low. And that's a big one. That's a huge one. Here's what I do. I'll have the moments of like, man, I just don't want to do nothing today. So my energy gauge, my productivity gauge is kind of shot. So what do? In those days, in those moments, now I don't let those days just happen all the time. I'll say, okay, what can I do right now? I'm going to give myself some grace that I'm able to do still productively that isn't going to take too much brain cells or calories to think. Sometimes it's going into CapCut and editing video, listening to my podcast and hitting the edit, right? Which I typically don't even edit these podcasts. But that's what I focus on in that moment, is building that system that'll carry me when I don't feel like doing something. And sometimes, honestly, you know what the system is? Go sit down for 15 minutes and just regroup. Don't even think about business, or try not to, or brain dump, whatever that is for you. Do it. Last one, stop chasing breakthroughs and start building them. Ooh, that one's going to hurt you. Stop chasing breakthrough. I just need another breakthrough, Lord. Oh, Lord, I just need another breakthrough, Lord. I need a financial breakthrough. Here's your financial breakthrough. Here's your masterclass right here. Stop spending money on stupid stuff. Send me $97 for that workshop, okay? Stop chasing breakthroughs and start building them. That's how you build them. You break through. So, I want to empower you now. I want you to know something, that you have the goods. You're listening to this podcast for a reason. You're watching me on the video, this bobblehead going back and forth, for a reason. You have the goods. God has created you. The God of all the universes that created the universe. He doesn't just own it. He didn't like buy it from somebody. He created it all. He created every assignment for your life. But he wants you to remember that motivation only gets you started. See, discipline keeps you building. So if this has resonated with you, I want you to understand that growth doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing the right things consistently in your life. If this conversation has added value to your life, do me a huge favor. You already know. Drop a comment. Share this out. Do me a huge favor and download this episode. That's my goal this year, is to have at least 1,000 downloads by the end of the year. Right now, as of today, and this is January 21st that I'm recording this, we've got 31 downloads, which I think is pretty awesome because I've only been on this platform close to a month. I think that's phenomenal, and it's you that's doing it. So thank you for that. Also, if you want to join a network that is going to lift you up and have conversations like this one here, the link is in the show notes and in this YouTube and the Facebook. Click the link to my Kingdom Link Network private group on Facebook. Introduce yourself. Let us know what you do. Get into the conversations. There's posts that are coming through, all the things. There's so much stuff coming down the pipeline. But anyway, I don't want to, give a bunch of stuff and you're like, okay, I didn't listen to the podcast for that. I'm listening to the podcast because I want to get my confidence built up. So thank you so much for tuning in to the Built for Confidence podcast. Let me get you on out of here. Let me get my outro ready because we about to do this thing. And that's all I got for y'all. All right. God bless y'all. I want to thank you once again for tuning in to the Built for Confidence podcast. If you have found value in any of these episodes, do me a huge favor, drop me a review, and also let me know which episode has touched your life. My passion is to help business owners grow, scale, and expand for the kingdom of God. So let's get out there. Let's build our businesses, share this out, hit that like, all the things, and we'll catch you on our next episode. God bless.